Do 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 do. Do 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 do. Oh, hey guys. I saw Superman. So last night the Amazon Prime early screenings were, well, screened across the country, and I was there at my local theater. I was going to do my immediate out of the theater reaction last night, but I wasn't sure what to say because I wasn't quite sure how I felt about it yet. I felt like I needed to maybe sleep on it before I gave my opinion. I was a little mixed. Overall, it's not perfect, but the more I think about it, the more I realize I really, really liked it. And it's a really good start to this new universe. Now, first off, I will say this is very much a James Gunn movie. It's got his stamp all over it, but it doesn't feel necessarily like it was as excessive as, say, Suicide Squad or Peacemaker or even Guardians. It has a slightly less immature tone to it, if that makes sense. It's a little more grown up, but not in like a violent way or something. Gunn's humor overall can be very hit or miss with me. I like some of it doesn't grab me. Most of it did here. There were a few moments where I was going, are we really doing this kind of joke? But those were very few, and even at those points, the rest of the theater was erupting with laughter, so it just goes to show how subjective humor can be. What doesn't work for me might work for you. This also might be one of the most comic book movies I've ever seen. It does not shy away from the fantastical nature of this world. It literally is right off the page. Some of the things in here, I couldn't believe how fantastical it got, but in a good way. I'll also say, David Cornsweet is a fantastic Superman. I'm not going to say he's the best Superman, that's another subjective thing, and I like them all, but he really fits well this version of the role as a younger, slightly more inexperienced version of the hero, still figuring out who he is, what his place is in the world. As a matter of fact, I think he does the best job of portraying that. While I love both Henry Cavill and Christopher Reeve, they never really in their origin stories gave me a sense that they were new. Beyond that scene of Henry Cavill's first flight in Man of Steel, which is still fantastic, they were both almost too confident as Superman right away, like they'd been doing it for years. And while this isn't an origin story, Cornsweet does give the role a younger feeling, more youthful vibe that is a uniquely welcome take on the character, but not young and youthful as in like he's a immature college student playing pranks or something like that. He's still very much the Boy Scout, very much Superman. He also has great chemistry with Rachel Brosnahan as Lois Lane. While I haven't watched much of The Marvelous Mrs. Maisel, I'd only seen one episode and a few clips before she was cast, and I've still only seen one episode and a few clips. But I'd seen enough to get excited when she was announced in the role, thinking, she's gonna be the perfect Lois Lane, and she is. Best live-action Lois we've ever had, in my opinion. As is, I would say, Skylar Gisondo as Jimmy, and Nicholas Hoult, who possibly plays the most brutal version of Lex Luthor we've ever seen on screen. The Daily Planet crew is cast well. I love this version of Perry White. I wish we'd had more of the Daily Planet cast. They're not in it very much, but they were in it just enough for what they were trying to do. I would really like to see more of them just because they're all so good. Neva Howell and Pruitt Taylor Vince, perfect as Mom and Pa Kent. The Justice Gang, Guy Gardner, is exactly what you would expect Nathan Fillion as Guy Gardner to be like. I thought the CGI on the constructs was very cool. It makes me look forward even more to seeing how they handle that in Lanterns next year. I was worried Hawkgirl was going to be made just as ridiculous and as much of a jerk as Guy Gardner, but she was a bit, but not much. She was fine. We didn't get much of her. She was fine. The standout for me, however, was Eddie Gathicke as Mr. Terrific. He's the one we got the most of, I would say. I want to see more of all of them, but I really want to see more of him. They all had great action sequences, particularly towards the end. Guy Gardner and Hawkgirl have some really cool stuff to do. I know a lot of people were worried about the other heroes and the stacked cast, and is it going to be too stuffed? It isn't. It really isn't. They're very much supporting characters. They serve to lift up the story and support the three main characters who are definitely Superman, Lois, and Lex. And I don't think the story would have worked as well without these supporting characters. And of course, rounding out characters to talk about is Krypto. He's also used excellently here. He's not overused. He's not just there to be like, oh, we need a laugh, cut to Krypto. He's here when he needs to be here. He's works fine for the movie. Although I didn't have a problem with this. There were some people out there who didn't like how rambunctious he is or whatever, how misbehaved. People say, oh, if a dog loves you, he's not going to act like that. My dog would never act like that. Yeah, your dog would never act like that, but there are a lot of dogs who would. It really depends on who raised them and what their situation is. There are a lot of dogs like Krypto who, they don't realize they're being bad. They don't realize they're being mean. They just want to play. I think is very realistic. And there's a very good reason in the movie for why he acts the way he acts. You just have to wait until the end. It'll all make sense. If I could make one complaint about this movie, it's that I wish there was a little more time for character moments to shine, to breathe. I don't feel like I connected with the characters on an emotional level as much as I have with other films, but that's all right. There was character, there was emotion, mainly for Clark and Lois, and it was enough for what it was trying to be. But yeah, overall, I'd say I really, really liked this movie. I'm not quite sure I can say that I loved it yet, but I think it's a fantastic start to the DCU. It sets up the world really, really well, while also being a standalone Superman movie, disconnected from everything else. You can watch this. You don't have to watch anything before, there's nothing before, but you don't have to watch anything after it to, continue on the story. There's no cliffhangers. There are 2 end credit scenes, but, this may be a slight spoiler, but they're not set up. There's not like a cliffhanger setup that leads to the next movie or anything. But yeah, can't wait to see where it goes from here. Can't wait for the next DCU project. What do you guys think? Did you guys see it? Are you guys going to see it? The usual questions. Let me know in the comments below, and I'll talk to you next time. Bye.